Guys, what's up? What's up, Niner gang? I'm back. I'm sorry I took so long, but I hope everybody's having a great day, a great off season. We got one more day till 49ers game day preseason against the Texans tomorrow. And I've been struggling to get some more videos up. Been really busy, but here we go, man. I've accumulated so many notes that I didn't even know what to do with it, man. I think I might have to split it up into two shows and do another one before the game tomorrow, hopefully. And I'm also thinking of putting up a live game, like live game reaction. I was trying to get DirecTV to come set up my TV. I guess the technician had a family emergency. He won't be able to be available till Friday, so I won't get my DirecTV till Friday. Of course, with my luck, the day after the game. So I'll probably just try and watch it on my phone, do a live game reaction here with you guys. Hopefully you guys chime in and comment during the game as well. Stick into the live stream cast with me. But I wanted to show you guys something really quick that I got in the mail that I ordered. It's pretty badass. Check this out. Let's see how well you guys could see that. Ooh, the light. Dwight Clark, man, The Catch. The Catch Part 1. Beautiful classic moment from our franchise, man. And yeah, I've been waiting to show you guys that. And I should have another, I think a Debo Samuel one coming in the mail here soon. Some 49ers cups and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. The Lids website has been having some good sales on 49ers stuff, and you can pretty much find any type of like memorabilia and just cool gift items and stuff like that on there for sale. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm starting to like that website. I find it to be better than the store. I get hats on there, like I got the 2022 draft hat for $12.99, man. So that's a pretty badass deal. I don't have it right now to show, but I've worn it in another one of my videos, at least one. It's pretty badass. The snapback, I like snapbacks a lot. But yeah, man, I guess we'll get on to the show now. One of the things, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I guess during the Seahawks' last preseason game, one of their fans was in the stands with a banner that said, hurry up and get Jimmy G here. I thought that was pretty funny. It's pretty cool. And I'm pretty surprised, honestly. I didn't think Seahawks fans, any of them, wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. But I guess some do, man. And I don't know what percentage of the Seahawks fans do. I know a lot of them don't. But that's pretty good speculation there by that fan, man. Would Jimmy G go to the Seahawks? I don't know, man. In my eyes, especially if I were them, I would just tank this season. Of course, I think I would kind of like them to take Jimmy G. Reason being, he gets to be a starter most likely. He gets a chance to be successful. But, it kind of sets them back in a way because then they don't get to do another setup like they did with Russell Wilson. Before they drafted him, they had the whole team set up, and they draft him, and he was the game changer that he was. So if the Seahawks do tank this season, most likely they get the chance at getting a game changer in the draft next year. Probably get a pretty high draft pick if they go with what's his name? What can I remember his name right now? But there's Drew Lock, and the other one is Geno Smith. And from the word around the block, sounds like Pete Carroll is really liking Geno Smith. He's really bought into him. He's the starter as of right now, it seems like. And they did bring in Drew Lock. And one of the things that I was thinking about was that, okay, Drew Lock, he came from the Broncos, right? And I remember one of my buddies was super excited about it. He's like, we got Drew Lock, this, and that. He was bragging during the season. And we had a joke. Another one of the homies is a Steelers fan. And I was like, let me find out a motherfucker's bragging about a 2-3 team. So we started laughing at the Broncos fan, but it was all in good fun, man. And but my analyzation of this was that, okay, Drew Lock comes from the Broncos, right? And what do they emphasize? It's typically the running game and their defense. That's why when they plug in and play Peyton Manning that season, when Peyton Manning was there, is basically the Broncos were just a quarterback away from possibly having a Super Bowl team, right? And that happened to be the case. They already had their defense and everybody around, all the pieces for Peyton Manning. So he kind of just plugged in and played and got them to the Super Bowl. So, you know, the reason I bring Drew Lock up being from the Broncos was that, okay, he came from that system where it's heavily emphasized on the run game and the defense, right? Who else does that? The Seahawks, right? He didn't have success there. So I don't think he's going to have any success in the Seahawks as well. Now, maybe Pete Carroll, he can coach him up better as far as putting the pieces around him to help him out better. But I don't see that happening. Reason being that that was the reason they had a falling out in Seattle with Russell Wilson, right? We always heard every year the narrative was that Russell Wilson was unhappy with the offense. He didn't get to go bombs away like he wanted to. He was pretty bored in that system, and he didn't really have an offensive coordinator that can help him out in that way till last year. And then Russell Wilson ends up getting hurt anyways. So he didn't really get to do what he wanted to do in Seattle. He felt like he was being held back. But anyways, yeah, man, I don't see Drew Lock having success there. But anyways, Geno Smith is the starter as of right now, it seems like. But Jimmy G, would they take him? I don't think so. I mean, if I were them, I wouldn't. But as a Niners fan, I kind of hope they do. If we were to play them, I am not worried about playing against Jimmy G. It'd be pretty cool to see. It'd be kind of annoying that he's in the Seahawks uniform, but it'd just be cool to see him out there on the field, especially against Trey Lance and this defense. But, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo, everybody's always kind of talked about him not being good against our defense in practice and everything, throwing so many interceptions in one day. Maybe the highest, I think, was 5 interceptions in one day, which is pretty crazy. To be fair, Lance threw, 3 interceptions yesterday against our defense. But then again, we have to remember the defense does know our plays. And Trent Williams brought up something in the press conference. He kind of hinted at something. He's like, those playbook scripts are those play scripts are like pretty much up for grabs. Anybody can grab it, look at it, and get ready for practice. In other words, kind of hinting at the fact that the defense is also available to go ahead and grab those if they would like. And who knows if they do, man. You know, Fred Warner, that little troll he is, he might be grabbing one of those scripts and just to mess with the offense and really put them to the test, man. He might already know which routes are coming to him. So, yeah, little shit, man. But yeah, man. Would Jimmy Garoppolo go to the Browns? If they haven't made a move yet, and it's already, we've had about a week since the Deshaun Watson announcement with his suspension. Like our buddy Brian Culp said, if the Browns were to take Jimmy Garoppolo, it probably would have been that day or the day after. I think so as well, but who knows, man? They might be waiting to see another preseason game. Who knows, man? They might be waiting till Jimmy G gets cut, but why would you want to do that? Just get him in there, get him to get into that playbook as soon as possible. We got about, like 2.5 weeks till regular season starts. So you want to get him in that playbook as soon as possible, man. But as of right now, it's not looking I mean, there's speculation that the Giants are also interested, but it doesn't. We don't hear anybody making any moves. Jimmy Garoppolo is still in the background, throwing around and stuff like that. But and that's going to bring me to another topic I got later on. But back to practice with Trey Lance, man. He's getting back to practice away from the Vikings joint practices. He's back practicing against our defense, of course. And a lot of people are getting worried because he's throwing more interceptions. His completion percentage is down. And I feel like everybody's kind of worrying about that completion percentage too much. You guys got to remember, this is practice. This is where you try stuff out. Like, for real, man. Like, I played football. I know exactly what's going on there. You try things you haven't tried yet. You try techniques. And speaking of, like, I guess yesterday at practice, Trey Lance was kind of getting pulled aside by the quarterback coach, Brian Greasy. After a couple plays, he was getting pulled to the side, and it looked like Brian Greasy was kind of commenting on Trey Lance's footwork and telling him to work it a different way. And like I said, it happened a couple times, so it's like a bad habit that Trey Lance is doing in the pocket that he needs to break. But I guess a few plays later, same thing happened with Kyle Shanahan, where Kyle Shanahan saw something in Trey Lance's footwork that he was doing wrong. So he went up to Lance and talked to him about it. So he's working on things, man. It's practice, what is it? Practice is, what is it? Repetition and practice is the mother of all skill. So you just got to practice, man. You got to get those reps in. And that goes with pretty much anything. You want to be good or great at anything, you have to practice. And that's what Trey Lance is doing. We've seen him in games, what he can do. So everybody kind of needs to stop acting so surprised. like we don't know what Lance can do. He plays a lot better in games than he does in practice, I think. Just from everything that you hear and see. When we see him in a game, he's not making all these mistakes, right? And this is going back to his rookie year, man, when he had to step in for Garoppolo. He wasn't making all these mistakes. He threw one interception in which game was that where he threw the interception to George Kittle? I think that was basically his only mistake. I don't have his stats pulled up. I probably should have pulled up his stats, but that's the only interception I can remember that he threw last year. This wasn't like, everybody be super worried about it. Everybody was worried about Kyle Shanahan and the way he was using Trey Lance, right? I mean, especially people like me, man. I was like, why the hell is he running him like he's a damn fullback? Not even a halfback. He's running him like he's a damn fullback. Quarterback powers is not smart. Now, the injury happened mid-game, so who knows what Kyle Shanahan had worked with. He didn't seem prepared for that moment, and who does that fall on? The head coach, right? That's his fault. He didn't prepare for that moment, and he kind of put our rookie quarterback in harm's way. I'm just thinking, sorry. Yeah, he put our rookie quarterback in harm's way, man. So Kyle Shanahan as well, he gets a whole offseason to work around Trey Lance, kind of get the playbook scripted around him. So this is practice, man. He's trying stuff. The defense knows what's coming. You guys can't put too much stock in that completion percentage at all, man. We know what he can do in games, and he's less likely to make those mistakes in games. He knows more what's on the line, and that more is on the line. So don't worry about it, guys. Relax. But another note I have here is so Trey Lance, he's also been struggling with the short throws, right? And we're still hearing it. He had a short throw to Debo Samuel. He's kind of having some inaccurate passes in practice as well. But I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's on like training camp before the joint practices with Minnesota. Dang, my nose is itching. But before the joint practices with Minnesota, Lance seemed pretty accurate, man. You were hearing a lot of good things. You know, him and Brandon Ayuk were having this awesome connection. They come back from these joint practices and that preseason game, which they didn't play in. But the accuracy coming back from that is sounding pretty bad, man. And it's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there. Like I said in another video, the way I gripped the ball totally changed the way I threw the ball. I didn't even have to fix anything in mechanics. Like I wasn't a quarterback, but just playing catch. When I would throw the ball really hard, since I was gripping at the back of the ball, it was giving the tail of the football a spin. So it was wobbling in the air, right? Not a spin like a spiral. It was like a wobble. Then I started gripping the ball. Started gripping the ball in the middle of the laces with my middle finger, and basically wrapping my hand around the whole football, not the back end of it. And it made my passes spiral a lot more, pretty much all the time. And another thing I had noticed, like I said, I wasn't a quarterback. I didn't have a quarterback coach. I didn't have anybody coaching me. This is just me playing catch, noticing how the ball's coming out. I would change things about how I would throw, just to kind of see what could help me out. And that's how I figured out that grip. But I also figured something else out. I remember when I first started throwing the football around a lot more, I used to kind of look up in the air to where I wanted to throw it. And I started noticing that was my accuracy wasn't really there a lot of the times on deep throws and stuff like that. But then what I did was I tried, instead of looking up in the air where I kind of wanted to throw it, I started looking at the receiver kind of in his chest, and I would just glare at his chest in a way and throw it in a straight line to right there. And it seemed like my passes were landing in the basket every time, man. It's pretty crazy. You know, like, for example, if I was throwing a quick slant, I would look ahead of the receiver to where I wanted to throw it, and it wouldn't work for me. So I started looking at the receiver at his chest, and I would throw it, and it would go perfectly where it needed to be at, out in front of the receiver a little bit. It's weird. I don't know if that's just my brain, the way it works, or if that's how they coach quarterbacks, but Lance is having a lot of trouble with his short passes. Maybe he needs to, whoever he's throwing it to, maybe he needs to look him in the chest or something. But that and his footwork are two of his issues right now. For whatever reason, the deep ball, his deep throws are what he's not struggling with. So that's kind of weird. You would assume the short throw stuff is the easier stuff, right? Yeah, not when you're throwing like Lance as well, because he throws the ball super hard, or at least last season he was. Everybody's saying that this year he has learned to take some velocity off the ball and kind of put some more touch into it. So that's good, but let's get that accuracy in there as well. You would think that would come with not throwing the ball so hard within that short range. So we'll see, man. We're just going to have to keep an eye on that, and we're going to get to see him do that tomorrow, man. We're going to have to keep an eye on what we're seeing from him tomorrow. That's going to be pretty fun, because this is going to be the first time in a long time that us, the public, the fans, we actually get to see Trey Lance work. We get to see him work for what Kyle Shanahan says is the whole first half of the game. So it's going to be a pretty good while, man. 2 quarters. Kyle Shanahan's been honest with us pretty much the whole way, so it probably will be the first half. I would like to personally see more. Of course, I don't want our starters to get hurt, but Trey Lance, he's already shown that he's learning to protect himself better. You know, he slid in that first preseason game. That was something we never seen him do before. So he's learning. He's listening, man. He's listening to what the fans are talking about, what his coaches are talking about. His coaches are listening to what the fans talk about. And man, I see a lot of fans. They're like, when we talk about the draft and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, you think the coaches care about what you have to say and this, and that?" It's like, dude, yeah, they do. At the end of the day, we pay them. They make their money off of us. We do have a say in this. They know what we like, what we don't like. Because a lot of people are voicing their opinions. It's like with video games and stuff like that. Just anything when video games get out there and people don't like them, like Madden and whatever, we're basically the testers, right? Even though they put out the game too soon to where it still has all these glitches or whatever, like Madden, and then the fans start going off like, "Hey, man, what the hell's going on? You guys need to fix this about the game. We're having all these glitches where this is happening, woody woo." And what do? They send you updates. They update the game, you download it, fixes some of the glitches, and then you move on to whatever else is wrong with the game. They fix that, and it's same thing with the team, man. They listen to the fans, and they don't say it, but they show it in their actions, definitely. Like, for example, how Kyle Shanahan he admitted that it was between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Why you would want Mac Jones, I wouldn't. That worries me, man. Why Kyle Shanahan would like Mac Jones? Why he likes this type of quarterback? That worries me a lot. Obviously, the NFL is trending towards a different kind of quarterback. So it's not good to see, not good to hear. But who knows? Like, he didn't admit that the fans were a part of his decision. But at the end of the day, he ended up going with Lance, and that's who the majority of the fans wanted, Trey Lance. I don't know if I would say all. Maybe a couple people wanted Mac Jones, but I've never heard of a Mac Jones fan on the 49ers, somebody who wants Mac Jones as a fan to be on the 49ers instead of Lance. But I think I talked about this in another video, but Brock Purdy, he's like our late draft pick Mac Jones, from what I see. But he's definitely more mobile, right? He's like a Jimmy Garoppolo, like the 2017 Jimmy Garoppolo. He's like a Mac Jones with more athleticism. So, at the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan gets the best of both worlds. And that's pretty cool to see, man, because he gets his Mac Jones type quarterback, but that Mac Jones type quarterback can also move and throw on the move as well. So that's pretty cool. And he gets Trey Lance. So, win-win for us and for Kyle Shanahan. And of course for Mr. Irrelevant, right? You guys better know who Mr. Irrelevant is. If you don't, comment. Ask me. But with these games coming up, man, we heard that in training camp, especially once the fans weren't there anymore, that the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan were putting in plays for the triple option and stuff like that, and those zone read plays. And that's really cool to hear, man, because that's one of the aspects that I was talking about, that this offense is going to be undefendable once the regular season rolls around and we're actually putting game plans in and stuff like that. Like, imagine Trey Lance in the backfield with two running backs, with the option to hand off to either one, or run with the ball, keep it, or even keep it and throw it at the last minute as well. The possibilities there are endless. But the thing is, when you have your quarterback running those option plays like that as well, you open him up to free hits. So you got what? You'll sometimes have a running linebacker running towards you, or a safety, maybe even a cornerback. I hope you guys can tell the difference when I say cornerback and quarterback. I don't know if you guys could hear that too well. But anyways, they're going to run into the backfield towards Trey Lance, and that's when he's going to have the option to either hand it off or pitch it, right? But as soon as he pitches it, that linebacker or whoever is still going to have the opportunity to get a free hit on Trey Lance. So that's going to be something to be careful about, man. And it's not something that's super encouraging when you think about that. But man, I mean, of course, these linebackers and everybody, the opposing defenses are going to want to get a hit on Lance, especially if it's a free hit where they don't get penalized, as long as they don't like pile drive him into the ground and stuff like that. But they're not going to be able to defend this very well. They're going to get their free hits probably, but as far as defending the play, probably still going to be big plays, man. It's going to be cool to see. We kind of saw some of that stuff with Colin Kaepernick, RG3. So go watch some of those highlights if you guys don't know what to look for, what to look forward to. Go watch some Colin Kaepernick option or zone read plays, some highlights from back then, or some RG3 with Washington, some of those highlights on his run plays and stuff like that. Go check that out. But Lance on paper, you know, there's all this speculation on him in the NFL, all these analysts talking about him, a lot of fans too, of course. But a lot of this stuff on paper with this completion percentage and stuff like that, we can just go back to that conversation. Don't take it too seriously, because just remember the eye test, man. And he has really high expectations, and a lot of people are talking about, oh, we shouldn't have done what we did with Jimmy Garoppolo last year. We went too far into the playoffs. It's like, when can you ever go too far into the playoffs, man? What kind of statement is that? That's weird. You know, we did what we did. It was super awesome, super exciting. And maybe it does add pressure to Lance, but who cares, man? You know, I hear all these guys that talk about the 49ers, all the NFL analysts and stuff like that. They talk about there's too much pressure on Lance, or don't do this because it'll put pressure on Lance, and do this, do that, whatever. Who cares, man? If you're an athlete, not even an NFL athlete, if you're an athlete, not a professional athlete, it doesn't matter. That's all we have all the time is pressure. You know, that's what we deal with. That's part of being an athlete. The guts and the glory. That's where statements like that come from. We always have pressure on us. Yeah, maybe not at the end of the game when we're blowing somebody out, but up until that point, there's always pressure on us. At the end of the day, Trey Lance is a big boy. He can handle himself. This is part of being an NFL athlete. Just that in itself is pressure. So for him to feel pressure to go to the NFC Championship, everybody has that pressure on them. If you don't have that pressure on you to make it to the NFC Championship, to the Super Bowl, what are you doing in the NFL? So I don't want to hear anything about pressure, man. That's ridiculous. You know, he better feel the pressure. He better feel that fire under his ass. Who cares? Who cares if he doesn't make it as far as Jimmy Garoppolo did last year, where he's not, what, now he's just a horrible player? No. Yeah. Give me your guys' thoughts on that. But as I see it, I mean, I'm an athlete. So I know pressure comes with the game, especially being a professional athlete. And you got to take the good with the bad, as well as like, you know, some of these athletes, when they get mad about the reporters and stuff like that. Yeah, it's irritating, but you got to compose yourself. You got to know what comes with the territory. Trey Lance knows what comes with the territory. That's why he was so poised when he played. He's always so poised. You look at him, he's calm, he's relaxed, he's confident. You guys think you guys think he's super under pressure? Well, if he is, he's handling it great. But still, that's what's gonna pressure him, you know. It's gonna pressure him to do great. And what do they say? Pressure creates diamonds. And he's that type of guy as well, where he's gonna go back and he's gonna work on these things because he wants to be the best he can be. And that's been another reason that Kyle Shanahan likes him a lot, man. Kyle Shanahan wants somebody that loves, that is ready to work and play the game the way it needs to be played and improve to be the best quarterback, be the best chess piece for Kyle Shanahan he can be, in a way. Not to mean that rude or anything, but at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. Trey Lance is a chess piece for Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle Shanahan, he does draw up these plays, right? But at the end of the day, these chess pieces have to execute the X's and O's part of the game, as well as improvise and be able to do something that isn't on script, right? So they need to be able to pull Kyle Shanahan out when either he makes a bad call or maybe it's just not the right play at the right time, and vice versa. Kyle Shanahan's going to be helping out his chess pieces, his players, putting them in the best position he thinks is what they should be in, you know? So that's probably the reason, I think it was at the pro day that Trey Lance and Kyle Shanahan met and spoke with each other. So that was probably a big part of why Kyle Shanahan wanted Trey Lance. He saw something in him. He saw a twinkle in his eye or something. But anyways, another thing that people are comparing Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance about was, well, it's basically the same thing, right? Jimmy Garoppolo, it's kind of known that he's not as hard of a worker as Trey Lance is, what it seems like. Every offseason, do you ever hear of, hey, what's up, CG Ruthless? What's up, bro? Hope you're doing good today. But Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason, he you know what? I forgot to put the link in the description if you want to jump on board. There you go. Just in case, if you want to jump in. Hope you're having a great day. But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is not known to be the hardest worker as far as everybody's speculation. When in the offseason do you ever hear Jimmy Garoppolo getting all the guys together to do off-season work? We never hear of who he's working with, what kind of work he's doing in the off-season. We kind of just hear things like this off-season, dudes at Hooters or whatever. Okay. Yeah, sounds good, CG. Take care, bro. But yeah, Trey Lance, he's been working really hard. And one of the things that Jimmy Garoppolo had was he would always wear that wristband with all the plays on it, right? And you would actually, I remember seeing him flipping it open and reading it in the huddle or right before the huddle in games. And apparently Trey Lance doesn't wear that wristband. Now, for me, if I was a quarterback, and I know a lot of quarterbacks just wear it because of the swag and just kind of some superstitious kind of reasons. But Jimmy Garoppolo wears it, and it's kind of a bad look, especially towards the fact that Trey Lance is, he's a first-year starter, and he's already not wearing it. So it's already a bad look. Jimmy Garoppolo was still wearing it in the 2021 season after being on the 49ers for 4 years. And we only heard of him putting in that work one one off season out of his entire tenure here. So, you know, one of the things they were talking about with Trey Lance before he got drafted was that that Trey Lance was really smart as well, like really smart. Dude is a borderline football genius, and he works really hard, and he learned the playbook really fast. So that's going to be really cool to see. I mean, it kind of showed last year with him getting thrown in there out of nowhere, but you know, that's going to be cool to see how smart he is, and the film studies and all that. But you know, I talked about this in the last video as well. Jimmy Garoppolo versus the Bears versus Trey Lance with the Bears. We played the Bears last season, as you all know, and we got to see how Jimmy Garoppolo did against the Bears, man, and he struggled. He really struggled. It wasn't until Kyle Shanahan yelled at him on the sideline and told him, "This is easy shit. Can you do this?" And Garoppolo finally had to throw a deep ball to Debo Samuel to kind of make a play before the half and finally get some points on the board, because yeah, we were not doing anything offensively against the Bears. So it's going to be really interesting, that because that's our first week matchup. It's going to be really interesting, especially for this being the first game of the season, because Trey Lance is not going to have games before this, really, other than preseason, to prepare and to take more reps, because I mean, he's not going to have games to be warming up, because in the way I see it, and most likely the way everybody sees it, is this team is going to improve during the season, like we always seem to do. We kind of start off slow and get the ball rolling. Even in 2019, we were undefeated, but we weren't looking super great. We weren't blowing teams out super crazy in that 2019 season to begin the season. We were winning very close games again against mediocre teams until probably the Browns game, when we blew them out. I forget what the score was, like 30-3 or 30-13 or something. I don't know. But yeah, man, to see if he comes out and whoops the Bears' ass in his first regular season game, what does that say about the contrast between him and Jimmy Garoppolo? So that's going to be really cool to see, man. I think that's gonna tell us a lot about what we have to look forward to. What a lot of have, not even we. I would say you guys, because I don't have very many questions about Trey Lance. As long as this team can stay healthy, especially Lance, man, I see us doing great things. I don't have a whole lot of questions, especially after a few weeks of training camp and all this. All those question marks are kind of starting to disappear. We're getting a lot more confidence in this team. Even the offensive line, the questions we had before, the nickel cornerback and the offensive line were probably the biggest questions. And well, we got Sam Womack jumping up in there, looking like an all-star already. And I'm not going to expect that out the gates when it comes to regular season, but he's already showing it. And there's only room for him to grow, as far as I see it. Yeah, we had guys like Ambry Thomas, as well as Akello Witherspoon, who show good things, and then when they lose their confidence for whatever reason, that really impacts their game. And it kind of seems like that's what's going on with Ambry Thomas right now. He's just kind of lost his confidence, because he played in the regular season last year as well as the postseason, and he did pretty good. So for him to come in this training camp and not look as good as he did last year is pretty weird. I don't know if he just kind of saw one bad thing happen in his game and it just kind of snowballed and destroyed his confidence, and that's affecting his athleticism. But that's really weird, man. You know, especially me being an athlete, a football player as I was, it can't destroy your confidence, man. It's just got to get you better. That's the way I saw it. I was like, okay, I did this wrong. Um, I need to fix that because my head wasn't in the game or whatever reason. And if I improve this, then they're not going to be able to beat me next time, right? Um, but everybody's mental construct is different, so hopefully Ambry can pull himself out of there, man. But it's kind of weird because Diamador Lenore was that other guy that was kind of in the position that Ambry Thomas is this year, but he's the one that's stepping up right now. It sounds like he's the one with that kind of mental construct like me, to where, okay, yeah, people were down on me last year. I needed to fix these things about my game. I've been working on it. Now I'm the guy stepping up. And that's how you get there. So it seems like that's what Diamador Lenore's been doing. Seems like that's what Ambry Thomas hasn't been doing. And what do you see? You see one like this, and it's slowly shifting, man. And maybe not even slowly. It's just Diamador Lenore's already taken a second string seat to Sam Womack as of right now, and he's looking really solid, like a really solid backup right now. But I think Diamador Lenore was third, maybe even fourth string coming in. Well, not coming in, but very recently, and very recently he's already moved up to second string. But let's move on to Lance and Debo's chemistry as well, because that's going to be a question mark. See, that is a question mark as of right now. And I would say maybe it's not even their chemistry. Maybe it's just Debo Samuel, man. Because a big part of his game is he's dropped a lot of passes before. So that's not really one of his big strengths, is hands catching, which is weird because he always makes the most difficult catches. And it's super weird. It seems like he's more concentrated in those moments where it's more difficult. And I understand that, to where when a catch should be easy, you kind of lose your concentration on it because it's kind of like a gimme, right? So I think that plays a part in it. And I wouldn't even say it's their chemistry because of that. I think Debo just needs to work on catching with that jugs machine or something. He needs to like flip around and catch the ball, work on his concentration, his hand-eye coordination. But he really does need to work on that. He's getting paid a lot of money, man, and I've never understood that. Wide receivers that are in the NFL that can't catch the damn ball, that's your job, man. You get paid millions of dollars to do that. That's the name of the game, dude. Come on, man. It's crazy to me. But I'm not worried about Debo Samuel. A lot of these players that it's kind of like the whole Trey Lance thing, to where we can't take too much stock in training camp. We have to wait till game day to where it really shows and we can see it splayed out for us. Because Debo Samuel, even with his drops last year, even minus the running plays, he was the receiver that had the most explosive touchdown passes and receptions last year, right? Every time we saw a bomb, a deep throw, typically it was to Debo Samuel, right? And it's probably still going to happen. So, I mean, he had the most explosive plays receiving last year, as well as the most explosive plays when it came to rushing. So at the end of the day, I think Debo is going to be Debo. He probably will drop some passes here and there during the regular season, but he'll probably make up for it with his rushing and his deep catches. So take it for what it is. Let me get your guys' commentary on that when you get a chance. But backup quarterbacks. Purdy and Sudfeld, man. I've said it before. Sudfeld is number 2 right now, right? That's what they put in the depth chart. He's taking the number 2 reps and everything. But I do see Purdy taking over with as much confidence and playmaking ability as he's shown in this preseason so far. How the hell can he not be the second string quarterback over Sudfeld? Now, to be fair, Sudfeld, his deep passes look a lot better than Purdy's, but Purdy overall, I think, has looked a lot better. He can do those off-script plays. He has that potential for that. He can definitely be a game manager, but he's going to start off slower. You know, Sudfeld has gotten a year to get in this playbook and an off season. Purdy was just drafted. He's just learning this playbook, and he's already looking to take the reins away from Sudfeld in that number 2 spot. So I think as the season progresses, that's going to happen. And especially if he can work on those deep passes, that was a problem with Garoppolo, to where he had that quick release, which Purdy seems to try and do as well, to where they try so hard for the quick release that their feet don't really get set for their deep passes, so it kind of floats and doesn't go as far. That's the same problem I'm seeing with Purdy as of right now. But I still think once he learns his playbook a little better, he gets more accustomed to it, I think he's going to take that from Sudfeld, man, and I hope he does. Sudfeld looks all right, but he's too much of a statue for my taste, especially with the way Trey Lance plays. And if Purdy had to step in the game for Trey Lance, I would feel more confident in him with his off-script potential. And I really hope they keep. I mean, I see them keeping 3 quarterbacks, and there's a lot of questions about this right now. But if you look into the history, man, we've, for the most part, pretty much always kept 3 quarterbacks, it seems like. Well, we had Garoppolo, Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, and CJ Beathard, right? They were all on the team. So that can definitely happen this year, especially in the beginning. I would like to see us keep at least Purdy, man. You know, Sudfeld, keep him, don't keep him, I don't really care, but we need to keep Purdy. I don't know how many teams are looking at him right now in this offseason. I don't know if they hear all the hype, but you know, if we cut Purdy, because we do have to cut him. If we want him on the practice squad, then we have to cut him first. He has to have a chance to go through all those waivers. And if we put Purdy through that, I don't think he's going to make it through all the waivers, especially if there's people keeping an eye on the Niners, which I'm sure there is, being that they're the strongest roster typically in the NFL. He wouldn't make it through waivers, so we would lose him. So the way I see it is, okay, you got this guy who's already looking really good. He's showing his potential with him just getting here versus somebody who's looking all right and he's been here, right? That's Sudfeld. He's been here. Purdy's the one who just got here, and he's already looking really good. So, yeah, man, hopefully we keep Purdy. I would way rather, if we have to cut one of them, definitely Sudfeld. Especially, he's the one that's getting paid right now, $2 million. That offers up some cap space. But Jimmy Garoppolo, who knows what's going to go on with that, man. Kyle Shanahan says August 30th, if he's still on the team, he's going to get cut. Do I think that's going to happen? I have no idea. Typically, Kyle Shanahan is very honest with us when it comes to that stuff, but he has thrown us for a loop before, especially with the whole quarterback situation last year, with him talking about we don't know who the starter is going to be. It could be anybody. Jimmy Garoppolo is a starter, but you got Trey Lance taking reps and stuff like that, and even playing in some of the games, switching back and forth with Garoppolo. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to end up on the Seahawks or the Browns or what the hell is going to happen. I don't know if he's going to get cut. Jed York, of course, he mentioned he'd be happy to keep Garoppolo on the team. Would I? That's tough, man. I would really love to be able to free up that cap space And I'm really confident in Purdy being that backup. But if we release Garoppolo and Trey Lance gets hurt, then what? How good is Purdy gonna look against starters? You know, I'm still pretty confident in him, but I think he's gonna look very similar to what Garoppolo has looked like, right? And probably even better, maybe probably like Garoppolo back in 2017, where he was still running out of the pocket and throwing on the run and stuff like that. But that's a tough one. I would like to keep Garoppolo, just as a safety net, but like I said, man, Purdy would look like a Garoppolo anyways. So if we can free up that cap space and sign some free agents that can help us in other areas we need help at, like the O-line, but the O-line is starting to look good. We're not going to find out till the regular season, right? We're probably going to see some of it in this preseason game tomorrow, because the Texans will probably be playing a lot of their starting defense against our starting offense. So we're going to get to see what our offensive line looks like against starters. But if we do need free agent offensive linemen, then that's where Garoppolo will come into effect right there. So that's where I stand as of right now, man. If we're gonna release Garoppolo, it better be for something. If we're gonna cut him, use the money for free agents. If we're gonna trade him for players we need. So we'll see though, man. Because as of right now, who was it? It was it was Brendel. So Brendel right now is a starting center. He's not looking super great, but he's taking the starting reps right now, and Brunskill's been hurt. But Brunskill's also been on the side. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Brunskill's been giving snaps to Jimmy Garoppolo off on the side now. So he's coming back from injury, and we still don't know is it going to be Brendel? Is it going to be Brunskill at that starting center position? So if we do trade Garoppolo, most likely it should be for a center, man. Whether that be the cap space stuff or a straight up trade. But we'll get to the running backs, man. Jeff Wilson Jr. looking really good. Elijah Mitchell's coming back already. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow, but he is back. He's coming back from that injury. And some of the news that came out was that Trey Sermon's ankle or foot was hurting. And to me, this just sounds like an excuse. Trey Sermon's been the one on everybody's back burner. Seems like everybody that's watching practice, everybody that's watching preseason, Trey Sermon is the least favorite running back right now, by far. And then this news comes out about Trey Sermon's foot hurting, his ankle hurting, whatever. It just sounds like an excuse, man. If his ankle was hurting, then why is he still making cuts? You would think he would just run straight like everybody wants him to. No, he's still making these cutbacks. So that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's just one kind of speculation that I had on that. As far as everybody else, man, all the other running backs look really great. Of course, we haven't gotten to see Mitchell really. But let me know what you guys think, man. What do you guys think about the running back situation? I think Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. are a given. Now, what are we going to do at number 3, number 4? Are we going to keep 5? And I think we are going to keep 5. And probably, I think we'll keep 5 and probably release one of the quarterbacks. That's the way I kind of hope they do it, because I'm pretty confident in Purdy, like I said. And with that running back situation, we were putting too much on Elijah Mitchell, I thought, last year. I think we should definitely do more of a rotation, because we're really strong at that running back position. So why wouldn't you get different looks and just not put so much on one guy when you got all these other guys ready to keep everybody fresh? So keep 4 at least, of course, but I would say 5, man. I don't think Jordan Mason is. If we cut him, I don't think he's going to make it through those waivers. Another team's definitely going to pick him up. So Wilson Jr., Elijah Mitchell, of course, TDP he's most likely going to get a spot just because of where he was drafted, which is unfortunate, the roster politic type stuff. Jordan Mason's been looking better than him, as well as Jermichael Hasty. So who knows where they, not only do they keep him, where do they list TDP on the depth chart? That's going to be a question I have coming into this regular season game. But that's still 2.5 weeks away, man. I don't know what I'm going to do for the whole 2.5 weeks, man. Like, that's going to be a long wait, a lot of anxiety waiting for that first regular season game against the Bears. But I don't know if you guys heard me talking about Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. I think it was on the NFL Network. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless were raving about what they're hearing from training camp and preseason about Trey Lance. You know, of course, everybody's narrative is kind of switched now on Trey Lance and the 49ers, because that was a big question mark everybody had. Like, hey, the 49ers are a built team. Now we just got to see about the quarterback. But now these guys are raving. And Skip Bayless is a huge Cowboys fan. So this was pretty crazy to hear this coming from his mouth, was that he thinks the 49ers can definitely have a number one offense this year. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think the 49ers could be a number one offense this year? And if not, or if so, who's going to rival them? But I definitely think we could have a number one offense this year, man. As long as everybody stays healthy, that's the number one question right there. Our health this season, how's that going to play into everything? As long as we stay healthy, man, I see us in the Super Bowl with the Bills. So let me know what you guys think on that. And of course, we have had all these injuries, but Debo Samuel, he was able to stay healthy all last year with the beating that he took. So hopefully he's been in these guys' ears, kind of giving them advice on how to do that. But Kalia Davis was just placed on the PUP list, and he was looking really good. We drafted him. He's a defensive tackle. And the reason being that he did suffer an injury in college, so he gets to be on that PUP list. But Jason Verrett is on the injured reserve list. So Verrett, because he's put on that injured reserve list, he has to miss, by default, he has to miss at least 4 games out of the regular season, which is good for his position anyways, because you don't want to rush him back. And for me personally, I want him as a rotation piece anyways. So if he gets to take more time, more forced time off, that's better. But yeah, man, Verrett is able to play week 5. Now, will he play week 5? We'll see. He's looking good. He's practicing a little bit on the sideline, stuff like that. But yeah, that's cool that Verrett's going to be on the squad this year, as far as at least on injured reserve. And we'll just see how it goes. It's really exciting to think that not only, I mean, I don't even want it to be because of injury, just him as a rotational piece, keeping guys fresh. We can have that option. So that's pretty cool. But as well as the practice squad, man, everybody that's going to go on the practice squad this year, I have a lot of confidence in, for the most part, because this team is looking really loaded. And of course, when we have the cuts, the roster cuts, there's going to be some tough ones, you know, especially like the D-line. Everybody's known since before the season that we're going to have a lot of hard cuts to make as far as the defensive line, but I think that's going to go for the the whole team, the team as a whole. And so when we do get those guys on the practice squad that do make it through waivers, I feel really confident about that. I think we're going to have a really loaded team this year. Of course, center is still that big question mark. But, if we have injuries, this practice squad can definitely contribute and keep this team really solid. Kind of like 2019, man. All those injuries we had in 2019, we had guys stepping up. And that was a big narrative going on that year when we went to the Super Bowl, was everybody was really surprised. All the NFL analysts like, man, the 49ers, they keep getting these guys, these big playmakers and everybody injured, but seems like that next guy up is always ready to go, man. He's like Dwally, for example, when George Kittle went down and Dwally stepped up, man, he was making big plays. So it's, I mean, that's crazy to me that he doesn't get more playing time. But yeah, that's just one example. And another thing is like the wide receivers. So Danny Gray, Jennings, and McLeod are all, Jennings, he was that solid guy last year. Gray and McLeod have been stepping up here in training camp and preseason and looking pretty good. McLeod had that one fumble, but other than that, they've looked pretty good. Jennings, not so much. So it's like, it brings up the question, are they going to keep Jennings? I think, of course, they are. Not because of his training camp play, but just because of he was here last year and he showed a lot of good things. And I think he has that confidence from the coaches that once the season rolls around and it's game day, he's going to step up and do what he's got to do. As well as one thing that I see with him is that these other two guys, Danny Gray and Ray McLeod, they're really small, especially McLeod. They're really small, and this is a run-first offense. So Jennings, he's really big. And we need wide receivers that can block in the run game. So he's definitely still going to have that role in my eyes. He's got to be here. He's got to be one of those blocking wide receivers alongside Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. And we're going to see a lot of probably two tight end formations as well. So who's going to get that number 2 spot for the tight ends? I think is going to be not Hudson. What's his name? Croft. Yeah, I think it's going to be Croft. And I really like that play I saw from Sudfeld. He made a really beautiful throw to the sideline. And I'm pretty sure it was Croft that caught it. I got to go back and watch it, but I'm like 95% sure that was Tyler Croft, the veteran. I think he's going to be that number 2 guy, man. Warner, who knows what's going to happen with him. But Tayshaun Gibson, that was a pretty cool signing. The safety, veteran safety. He's been in the league a few years. But Jimmy Ward is down right now, and the key is to not rush him back. One of the things I didn't like about the McGlinchey situation was that I felt from the get that, this dude is coming off surgery. He's coming off injury and surgery and all that. Why is he starting already? That was really weird to me. And he was doing good, but it just takes that little tweak of movement to aggravate whatever he's got going on in his leg. So I definitely wanted them to take it a lot slower with him. And I'm hoping this move with Tayshaun Gibson is kind of a sign of them learning their lesson with McGlinchey and not wanting to have that same mistake happen with Jimmy Ward, not rushing him back and stuff like that. Which Jimmy Ward, man, he's very, very important to this defense. He's like that number 1 guy in a way, because he's that veteran, he's that leader, and he's very good at what he does, man. He's very good at not letting the play get past him. So if they bring in a veteran like Tayshaun Gibson, especially he's a guy that that gets a lot of turnovers. He's a ball hawk. So that kind of helps bring another aspect to the defensive playmaking ability. And George Odom's looking really good right now. A lot of people thought it was going to be Charvarius Ward, but he's not looking so great. And George Odom is another veteran who everybody thought was just going to be mostly special teams, if not exclusively special teams. But he's taking that starting role right now opposite Talanoa Hufanga. So he's looking really good, man. But Tayshaun Gibson getting worked in the system and getting some reps. Once he starts getting some reps, I'm curious to see how that battle kind of plays out. And let them battle it out, man. Let them compete. Let them get the best out of each other while Jimmy Ward rehabs and gets himself back to 100%. Don't rush him back. But I don't think we're going to need him the first couple games of this season anyways, because we're playing the Bears, we're playing the Seahawks. They're not exactly Super Bowl teams, at least as of right now. So, yeah, man, do that. And Hufanga's been looking really good as well, it seems like. You know, we haven't had no bad reports on him coming out. You know, it's a sign, good sign typically when you don't hear anything about a player. Sometimes, especially like on O-line and on defense, when you don't hear. But, I mean, I guess we have heard of Hufanga. He has been making interceptions, man. He's intercepted Trey Lance, I think at least twice in the past couple weeks. So, yeah, man, nothing but good things for the most part from Hufanga. So that's badass. That's really good to hear. And unfortunately for Jaquiski Tart, man, from what I hear, I think he's third string on the Eagles right now. So that's pretty crazy. I thought he was going to be a starter for them from the get-go. But another guy is, you know, we were talking about Ambry Thomas. He's kind of taken a downward slope in a way as far as his play. But Ken Crawley has stepped in his place and been looking pretty good. So that's pretty cool for Ken Crawley at least and for the team. But hopefully Ambry Thomas can show some more savvy competition and they can compete for that spot. But one of the things I was looking at was Charvarius Ward. I was curious about his injury history because right now Charvarius Ward is hurt. It's not anything too crazy, but I was like, dang, man, he came from the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't put up too much of a fight, right? And who else did this happen with? You guys remember a guy named D Ford, right? Kind of had the same situation with him to where the Chiefs kind of let him go and the 49ers pick him up and they sign him. They give him a big contract and all, but he couldn't stay healthy at all. So I was like, man, okay, the Chiefs didn't put up too much of a fight for Charvarius Ward. They let the 49ers sign him without a fight. What's this guy's injury history? How often did he play? And I looked it up. It's actually pretty promising, man. 2020, he had a fractured hand. That's in 2020. He fractured his hand. He only missed one game after fracturing his hand. 2021, and that's the whole season for 2020. He only missed one game. 2021, he had a quad strain. And from what I saw, I didn't exactly have the stat for that, but from what I saw, he didn't miss any games. He still finished the game. He had the quad strain, and I guess he rehabbed it during the week, I'm assuming, and still came and I don't think he practiced, but he still stepped in the game as a starter and played. I didn't see any missed games for 2021 last year. So within the past 2 years, from what I've seen, he's only missed one game. So that's really cool. And like I said, he had a quad strain in 2021. That's what he has right now. And he still didn't miss any games. So that's really encouraging to see and hear. Just going off that, it doesn't seem like as long as he rehabs well and doesn't play. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow in the preseason game. He seems like a really solid player. He's going to stay healthy for the most part. So hopefully that. But Kinlaw's been looking really great as far as the defense as well, man. That's pretty cool. I know they had that whole crazy thing with Grant Cohn, where Javon Kinlaw was going off on him. That was pretty crazy and funny to see. But yeah, man, that's kind of part of what, like I said before, it kind of brings the best out of the players sometimes. That narrative from the reporters, the players, they hear this, they listen to this. Like I said before, you guys don't think they listen to the fans, they listen to the reporters, what everybody has to say. They do. And Kinlaw was really pissed off about it. But he's been putting in that work. He's been rehabbing. He's looking really good, man, and I'm happy for him. Yeah, that's really cool to see from him, especially when it comes to the team as a whole. Of course, he's going to add to the defensive line to where he takes that pressure off of Bosa, Armstead, Drake Jackson, what's his name? Kerry Hyder, all those guys, man. So that's, man, I can't wait to see what this defensive line looks like this year. Sacks left and right, man. Who knows if these quarterbacks come into the regular season being able to stand up. they're probably going to get knocked down every play. And even the run game, man, that's going to be really cool to see them stuff in the run game. So, yeah, man. But I'm going to get going, guys. I got to go to work in a bit, unfortunately. Yeah, that's kind of played a part in why I haven't been able to put up as many live streams and just videos in general as I've wanted to. I work at night. I get off at 7 a.m. But let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking I'm going to try and do a live game reaction tomorrow, streaming while I'm watching the game right here. So you guys tune in for that, please. I might do a video in the morning when I get off work, but I don't think so. Reason being that since I get off so early in the morning, I got to double check what time the game is going to be showing in my time zone, but I'll probably have to wake up early for that. So if I could get more sleep, I probably won't do another video till the game starts. So that's probably how I was going to go for tomorrow. Yeah, live game reaction, me watching the game, my comments during the game. Hope you guys tune in. Hope you guys leave me some thoughts. Please like this video. I know I'm kind of new to the game, still working out some kinks, getting better at what I'm doing. Like I said, it's a lot more stressful when I don't have as much time to work on it. Like piling up on so many notes, and I kind of got to get them in order. Kind of at the last second before I'm streaming is really difficult to do. But like I said in my last video, my goal is to be able to do this full time. I want to be able to go to 49ers training camp next year and cover from there. So every like, every subscribe, every comment, everything that you guys do to support is just that. And it gives me support to where I get to work towards my goal of doing this full time and not having to go to a 9-to-5 that I don't want to do for the rest of my life. I would love to be able to just cover the team that I love, the team that I grew up with my whole life, do something that I love to do it full time and not in a stressful way, do it in a better state of mind as far as not in such a rush. So like I said, man, every like, every subscription, every I'm going to try and see how I can set up the memberships for this as well. I think I have to have 1,000 subscribers or something like that first. Something like that. YouTube goes off all the numbers, like as far as I can't post short reels until I have 50 subscribers and 1,000 views or something like that. Which luckily it's pretty cool to see, man. I'm getting a lot of views on my videos so far. Not getting as many likes. So come on, guys, don't hate. Come on, show me some love. Get some likes. I want to get you guys in here as well. I want you guys to jump in the stream, live chat with me. Be part of the conversation, man. Come on, guys. Don't be stuck up. But on that note, I'm going to let you guys go, catch some dinner, get ready for work, and take off, man. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night or a great morning. If you catch me in the morning, catch me whenever you can. Much love to you guys. Much love to the Niner gang. Best of wishes and prayers to our team and the players, that we wish them the best, man. And yeah, on that note, you guys have a great night. Take care. Tune in. Show me some love, man. Take care. Later.